Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Red Eyes Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for June 2022. Wanted to update the Red Eyes deck with the latest ban list. We did see Vert Anaconda placed on the Forbidden list, so with it, it kind of shuts down the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon package, but still very usable in this deck, so I figured an update was due for the playstyle of the Red Eyes deck, which is a pretty fusion-based deck, but it does have some XYZ options and also just some generic playstyle. Going for more of the pure build with this Red Eyes deck. I always find that to be the most fun version of the Red Eyes deck when you can utilize the good majority of the many different Red Eyes cards. Let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For our main go-to boss monster, we're running 3 Red Eyes Black Dragon. Just your go-to monster for a good number of the setups in the deck. It's used for the Xyz summon play. For Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, you can set it up with easy special summoning from your graveyard, and also use it for, like I said, one of the more powerful fusions being Red Eyes Dark Dragoon in the deck. So definite 3-up, so you always have this resource readily available. I also run 3 Blackstone of Legend. You can tribute this card to special summon 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, add this card to your hand. You can only use the Blackstone of Legend effect per turn, and only once that turn. So there's your initial setup of a Red Eyes monster much more quickly onto the field just by summoning out and tributing this card. Giving you those resources for the graveyard setup is great for the recycle, so I would definitely use 3 of this deck for those plays. I also run 3 Red Eyes Retro Dragon. If a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster you control, except Red Eyes Black Chick, is destroyed by your opponent's attack or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and if you do, special summon as many of those destroyed monsters as possible in the same position they were when they were destroyed, and you can tribute this card to normal summon 1 Red Eyes monster during your main phase this turn, and also in addition to your normal summoner set. So it's more of a setup, and it can save your resources on the field, so always useful there. We do have some link monster plays that you can go into in the extra deck as well, so having this as an extra resource and a way to save those monsters from being destroyed by your opponent's cards for your Red Eyes monsters being destroyed gives you those plays to at least set them back up on the field. And I also run 2 Black Metal Dragon, more of an equip card, which works very, very well with Red Eyes Slash Dragon. You can target 1 Red Eyes monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or field to that target. It gains 600 attack, and if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand. Search power, but also that power up for your Red Eyes Slash Dragon, also giving it an additional card to unequip from it to stop a card that would target one of your cards on the field as an additional play, along with the equip they can do to begin with, is always useful. And for more of the power up main deck Red Eyes plays, I run 2 Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon. Now there are some situations where your opponent will lock you out of the extra deck, like with cards like Artifact Scythe, so being able to have this boss monster in the main deck as an added option definitely does help. It cannot be normal summon or set. It must first be special summon from your hand by tributing 1 Red Eyes monster from your hand or field. You can only special summon Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon once per turn this way, and if it's destroyed by battle, or if this card's owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard except for Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon and special summon it, and if it was Red Eyes Black Dragon that was special summon, its original attack becomes doubled. So there's the power play I mentioned, being able to summon out the powerhouse Red Eyes onto the field to swing over a good majority of your opponent's monsters if you don't have to rely on the extra deck. For more of the warrior plays that you need for Red Eyes Slash Dragon, I run 2 Gearfried, the Red Eyes Iron Knight. Once per turn, if either player equips an equip card to this card, you can destroy those equip cards, then you can destroy 1 spell or trap your opponent controls, and once per turn you can send 1 equip card you control that is equipped to this card to the graveyard, then target 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So it is a card that is sent as the resource with Red Eyes Fusion to summon out your Red Eyes Slash Dragon needing a warrior monster, but you can also use the option for your Red Eyes Fangwood Chain as an additional card to target an effect monster on the field and equip onto it, and then activate the Gearfried, the Red Eyes Iron Knight, for the additional equip play and destruction. I also run 2 Red Eyes Baby Dragon. For this card, when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck. And if you do equip this card from your graveyard to it, it gains 300 attack. And if it's sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can add 1 level 1 monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. A way to at least recycle back Black Metal Dragon or add to your hand to use with this card. You can set up your Red Eyes play and then have the additional monster to equip onto it to power it up. And I also run 2 Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning. Now with the 1 play to summon out your Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. If you want to summon out this card with your Red Eyes Fusion, sending from the main deck, this won't count as a normal monster in the main deck. You'll have to use the original Summon Skull, but if you do have Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning in your graveyard or on the field, it's still treated as a normal Fiend-type monster, so then it meets the requirements for the Red Eyes Fusion if you use it as a resource on the field for that play being the Archfiend monster, or just needing the requirements for it being 1 level 6 Archfiend normal monster, so it has to count as that normal monster while on the field or graveyard. And I also run 2 Meteor Red Eyes Impact, along with the option for other Red Eyes monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. It's also a monster needed to summon out the Meteor Black Comet Dragon, needing 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster and 1 level 6 Dragon-type monster, being the level 6 Dragon-type monster with this card, and also another Gemini play, but one to at least set up in the graveyard a little easier with the fusion requirements. And then for the rest of the main deck monsters, we'll run 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. I know this card is at 3. If you did want to try out this card for more special summon options, you can always drop down the numbers of your Archfiend of Lightning and your Red Eyes Impact to 1 of copies and increase your number of Darkness Metal Dragon for that spot. Also 1 Red Eyes Wyvern, being able to send this card during your end phase. If you did not normal summon or set a monster this turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon 1 Red Eyes monster from your graveyard, except for Red Eyes Chick. You can just send this with a Dragon Shrine target if need be, or even just more of a setup with Red Eyes Inset, and then go for the setup with your Red Eyes Fusion, not taking up your normal summoner set. And lastly, the 1 Dark Magician, so you have the target to send with your Red Eyes Fusion to summon out your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Red Eyes Insight. You send 1 Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard to add 1 Red Eyes spell or trap from your deck to your hand, except for Red Eyes Insight. You can only activate 1 Red Eyes Insight once per turn. So you send that Red Eyes monster. Like I said, you have plenty of targets depending on what you want to send. You can send Red Eyes Wyvern or even your Archfiend of Lightning, setting up in the graveyard much more quickly that way to summon it back onto the field with some of our traps. But then you want to search out your next go-to spell, which is Red Eyes Fusion. Vert Anaconda may be banned, but we are running this at full power to at least see it more often in the deck. With Red Eyes Fusion, you fusion summon 1 fusion monster that lists Red Eyes monster as material from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or deck or field as fusion material. If you do, its name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon. You can normal summon or special summon other monsters the turn you activate this, and you can only activate 1 Red Eyes Fusion per turn. So if you do the Red Eyes Insight search, setting up your play with Red Eyes Wyvern, and then activate Red Eyes Fusion, you at least can send the Red Eyes Black Dragon to have an additional special summon at the play for the following, using your Red Eyes Wyvern and this card, using it for the setup of some of your bigger boss monsters. I also run 2 cards of the Redstone. You send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from your hand to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Then you can send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard. It helps to set up more of those Red Eyes monsters in the graveyard for you at least to summon back with some of our trap lineup. And then for the one-ofs for the spells, I run 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Dragon Shrine. The Dragon Shrine to either set up a recyclable Blackstone of Legend, or even the play I spoke of before with Red Eyes Wyvern to then summon a Red Eyes back onto the field. And that's it for the spells. Moving on now to the traps. I run 3 Red Eyes Spirit. You target 1 Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, except for Red Eyes Black Chick, and special summon it. So this can be the setup I spoke of before, with cards like Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, being able to summon it back onto the field, and then this being your normal summon to then once per turn, destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with defense lower than this card's attack. A good way to clear your opponent's board, and then just an easy way to summon it back onto the field to then also use as a resource with Red Eyes Fusion to summon out the Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. And I also run 2 Red Eyes Fang with Chain. You target 1 Red Eyes monster you control, equip this card to it, and you can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. And you can send this equipped card to the graveyard to target 1 level 1 effect monster on the field, equip that target to that monster, and the card that is equipped with this, while it is equipped to a monster, its attack and defense become equal to its original attack and defense of the equipped monster. So more of a setup play. It works pretty well with the Gearfried, the Red Eyes Iron Knight, since it is a Red Eyes monster, and more of an added option for the equipped equipped with Red Eyes Slash Dragon, with the last of our traps being Return to the Red Eyes, a continuous trap. If you control a Red Eyes monster except for Red Eyes Black Chick, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can target one Red Eyes monster in your graveyard except for Red Eyes Black Chick and special summon it. So the normal monster also works for the Gemini monsters, since they do count as normal monsters in the graveyard, and it's one that your opponent will more than likely try to avoid destroying, since it just gives you another resource once it is destroyed on the field. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 2 Red Eyes Slash Dragon. You need 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon and 1 Warrior monster to make it. When a Red Eyes monster declares an attack, you can target 1 Warrior monster in your graveyard, equip it to this card. As an equip spell, with the effect, the equipped monster gains 200 attack. And when a card or effect is activated that targets a card you control, you can send 1 equipped card to this card to the graveyard, negate the activation, and destroy that card. And if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon as many monsters from your graveyard as possible that were equipped to this card. So more of a protection play if your opponent does attack over the Red Eyes Slash Dragon, giving you resources back onto the field, but once again, an easy summon to summon out using Red Eyes Fusion. And the more cards you equip onto it, like let's say the Red Eyes Fang with Chang, or even your go-to level 1 monster, being your Black Metal Dragon, equip onto it, giving it an additional power boost along with the 200, or just when it attacks or a Red Eyes monster attacks, you can have this for a pretty powerhouse monster, making it difficult for your opponent to even target any of your cards. The boss monster in the deck is your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. If you can't afford Dragoon, I know there is a reprint coming in the Megaton at the end of summer, so hopefully a little more accessible for people, but if you want to take out a card for this, to do so, you can always replace the 1 Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning for a Summon Skull, and then you can replace this card with Black Skull Dragon, having another fusion target in the extra deck to send. And I also run 1 Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, along with the destruction and burn damage it can do. It's very useful against your opponent, and also being able to have the additional inflict damage against your opponent with Meteor Black Comet Dragon, needing the level 6 Dragon type monster, which is your go-to Red Eyes Impact for these cards, and then Archfiend of Lightning for the Black Skull Dragon target for both of these cards. And for the Xyz monsters, I run 2 of the Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. With this card, it cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has Xyz material. While this card has Xyz material, each time your opponent activates a card effect, inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. And once per turn, quick effect, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card to target 1 Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So as long as you have that other Red Eyes target, you can easily summon by detaching 1 of your other Red Eyes material off of this card and then summoning it back onto the field. For more of the generic Xyz monsters, I also run 1 Big Eye and 1 Dracosac with the many different level 7 monsters. It's pretty easy to make some overlay plays in this deck. That's why I like to run both of these cards. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Link Karibo for the Black Metal Dragon potential play, or even your Blackstone Legend. It's a pretty good level 1 target, along with 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 Apollosa for all the available plays. For some Link plays, when you can go into them, they definitely do help if you need more of those generic plays to use against your opponent. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, one of the biggest plays involves Red Eyes Fusion. Depending on what you send, you have a good access to the majority of your different plays. One of the easiest ones and used in the majority of meta decks is just being able to get out Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You really don't have any other summons for the rest of the turn, but this is a big, difficult card for your opponent to get over. If you need to go for more of a setup card, you also have the option with your Red Eyes Slash Dragon, sending your Red Eyes and then the additional Warrior monster to the graveyard to summon this card out. If you need your Black Skull Dragon, just remember the Archfiend card, unless you decide to run Summon Skull in the deck, has to be on the field for you to send, since it doesn't count as a Archfiend normal monster in the main deck. And also, for some of the additional setup with your plays, if you go for the level 7 special summon power after you set up the cards in your graveyard with Red Eyes Fusion, being able to summon them back the following turns, either with your Return of the Red Eyes or your Red Eyes Spirit, and having additional special summon power if you have the Red Eyes Slash Dragon already on the field and you summon out your Red Eyes Black Dragon. If you don't have any equips on your Red Eyes Slash Dragon, you can always overlay the 2 of these cards to also go into your Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon as an additional power option. Having that additional Red Eyes monster in the graveyard means you can at least detach the 1, then to target 1 Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard and special summon that resource back onto the field as well to use with some of your other bigger monsters in the deck, including your Red Eyes alternative Black Dragon. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I always love updating Red Eyes. It felt like it's been a good while since I last updated it, so it definitely needed one for the channel. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira, Twig out.